Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get, my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. To go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup, or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, this is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. So happy to be with you today. We always like to start our show by talking about what it means to be a warrior. A warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. Wars are important, as you know, if you've ever listened to us before, because it means you don't have to be brave and you don't got to be a soldier. You don't got to be in the armed forces. You just have to be able to push through something by being experienced, and so being a fighter. And all that means is that life has happened and it hasn't always been easy. And so it's like, okay, John, well, can't I just call myself a fighter then? Or can't I just call myself experienced? Why do I got to call myself a warrior? Is there a difference between a warrior and a fighter? Well, yes. A warrior mentality means that regardless of how many fights you're in, regardless of what you're going through, you're always willing to press on. It doesn't mean you'll be brave, doesn't mean you'll be happy about it, doesn't mean it'll be easy. It just means you'll do it. You'll get up and do it. And, I know we've been talking about him a lot lately, our son, Braden, and he since coming into our family, he's such an impressive kid. He's been with us for about 7 years. He was brought to me originally to do some personal training to overcome some situations that he was in. And he's always worked hard. He's always had a good work ethic. But if you haven't listened before, he was in a car accident on Good Friday, and he's currently paralyzed from the ribs down. So he doesn't even have abdominal control. So if you've ever met someone who is a paraplegic and they tell you they're paralyzed from the waist down, obviously a horrible situation, but ask them what it feels like to still be able to use their core. He doesn't have core. So every movement he does, he has to do with his back, chest, and arms, and it makes him kind of Gumby in the midsection. And so he's really been like a warrior because he just doesn't give up. Does it mean he doesn't get down? No. The kid wakes up sometimes in the middle of the night, looks down and is like, my legs don't work. I mean, that's horrible. Of course you're going to wake up and have bad nights. Of course you're going to get sad. Of course you're going to cry. That's not what it means to be a warrior. What it means to be a warrior is to shake that off, have the emotion, experience it, don't bury it, but shake it off and move forward. He's been doing that. I mean, I've got videos. We've been posting them online. He's doing dips. He's doing pull-ups. He's transferring between vehicles and wheelchairs. Like, he's got such a positive outlook, and he wants to help other people. Now, what I'm mentioning him for is what I just ended with. He wants to help other people. And so when you think about where you are in life, are you so in your own junk? Are you so in your own garbage? And are you so woe is me and burying yourself in it that you're not even aware of what's going on around you? I tell people the best thing you can do to overcome something is help other people. If you're pouring into other people, it will make you a better person. It'll make you more capable of overcoming what it is you're dealing with. Now, what does that mean? Well, John, if I take care of other people, I'm not taking care of myself. That's not what I'm saying. You have to take care of yourself. You have to get to the gym. You have to eat clean. You have to go to church. You have to do all the things to care for yourself. But like when you're in a struggle and you're looping in your mind, I'm telling you, one of the best loop breakers is doing something for someone else. And what you'll find is that's what Jesus did. Jesus actually modeled how we were supposed to be. Everything that Jesus did was for other people. Look back. Our pastor talked about this. He was talking about sometimes to elevate, you have to go down. And what he meant by that is Jesus went down and washed the feet of his disciples, and he was elevated by it. If you can humble yourself, get out of your garbage, and put yourself in a position to help someone else, it's life-changing. It starts to make you realize, like, maybe my situation is overcomable. Maybe I can press through this too. Maybe I can do this. I mean, my whole career is about helping other people. And sometimes I go to get in my own garbage. And what I'll tell you is the second I press into working with someone else, I feel better about what I'm dealing with. And I'm like, okay, like if I can help this person, then someone out there can help me. I can overcome. It's a mentality. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't necessarily give you an idea of what you're meant to do next, but it's a mentality that doesn't give up. And if you're trying to perfect something, you have to persist, because persistence brings you closer to perfection than trying to be perfect ever will. And that's what a warrior does, is they persist. Are you persisting to overcome something that you're uncomfortable with or not happy with in your life? Is it your marriage? Is it your job? Is it the way your kids treat you? What are you doing daily? What discipline are you implementing to overcome that? That's how you persist. That's how you're a warrior. Our daughter, Sophie, we've just been speaking into her about getting herself into a more organized state because she's 14 now, and she needs to start taking some credit and credibility in what she does, some accountability. So we actually bought her this schedule, and it's a monthly, daily, and hourly schedule, and she started writing in it. So yesterday she showed us her plan for the next 7 days. There's time wrote in for violin. There's time wrote in for art. There's time wrote in for all of the things she needs to do, reading her Bible. And she does it, and she's actually having fun with it. She's like excited because she's like, I'm going to grow doing this. I'm going to be able to, and you can see the excitement. But what's crazy is people are like, oh, she's a kid. You shouldn't make her work so hard. That work has her excited. And what it's doing is it's actually alleviating stress that she has, because she says she gets to the end of her day when she's at her other house and she's like, I didn't accomplish anything today. I was just on my iPad. I was sitting in a house with two other people on their iPad, and I was on my iPad, and I promise you that when someone is on their deathbed, they're not going to look at themselves or look back and be like, gosh, I wish I had watched more TikTok. I really wish I would have got more Instagram time in. What are you doing with your time? And more importantly, what are your kids doing with their time? Guys, if you're using an iPad or a phone or a TV or a video game as a pacifier, I promise you, you're not setting your kids up for living the best life that they can. Sometimes being a warrior is pressing into the sacrifice you have to make to help someone else. Sophie wrote me a Father's Day card. Did you read that, Deb? Did you read what she wrote?
No, but she. No,
I sat in.
She showed me that.
I sat in front of Debbie's parents and my parents, and almost bawled like a baby. It was everything I had to sit there and choke down my tears. If I had been asked a question and had to speak, I'd have lost it. I would have ugly cried, because it was one of those ones that opens up, like it goes to like 4 pieces, whatever that's called, not a trifold, but the fourfold, quadfold. Is that a real thing? So it opens up like that. And so one of them's a picture, okay? The second one has some verbiage on it. Third one has some verbiage on it. The fourth would technically be the back. And then there's, of course, all 4 on the back of that. Every square inch of it was writing. She had wrote something in every square inch of it. And she went on about, I know what you sacrifice. I know what you do to help me be who I am. I know how hard it is for you to come home at the end of a 15-hour day and have to have a tough conversation with me that you would much rather not have. But I also want to let you know that it's built my character and who I am, and I really appreciate it. If I ever seem like I'm like struggling with the discipline, or I'm struggling with some of the things that you guys implement, just know it's because it takes me a moment to recognize how good that's going to be for me in my future and how much I actually enjoy it now. And then she spoke about this current thing with the schedule, and how she already feels relief in knowing what her week's going to look like, and knowing when to play her violin instead of getting to the end of the week and being like, oh my gosh, I only practiced once. Oh my gosh, I only cracked my Bible twice. And I mean, it was beautiful. It was great validation, and I really appreciate it. My daughter is not a suck up. She's not one of those people like tells you something and asks for $500. So it was genuine. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're a parent and you kind of feel like you don't know what to do, or you keep plugging these electronics into them, take the time to figure out what you can do to help them be the best that they can be. If you're unhappy and you're looping, don't create a situation where you push a child into the same loop. You can change their lives. And I'm telling you right now, if you really think about that, it'll make the difficulty of what you're going through so much easier to deal with. We just did a video recently where someone asked me what I'm training for. And so I did a video that showed me following a ball on the ground, crawling, throwing something in the air. It was kind of silly. And I say at the beginning of it, what I'm training for is to play with my grandkids. My daughter is 14 years old. I don't know when she's going to have grandkids, but that means I have to stay in shape for 20 more years.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on 93.3. I'll tell you what, Debbie was being rude on break, so I mean, it's like I won't go into it because
I was not being rude.
You're being
picking on me.
You're being hurtful.
No, honey, nobody believes you.
Okay.
They all think you're picking on me.
Yeah, well, they'd be right.
And if Sophie's listening, she's like, "That's not true."
Yeah,
yeah.
She'll like call in. You know,
yeah.
You'll get like a ding on your Facebook
it wasn't
Messenger.
Debbie Mama. It was Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
she does defend you a lot, which is rude.
For good reason,
You know.
honey. Yeah, for good reason.
It always feels like 2v1.
And Braden defends me too. I don't know if you happen to notice
home,
that.
I'm like,
You happen to notice that? Do you feel like there's something to that? I mean, could there be anything to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are teaming up to pick on me.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
that is.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
we were talking about in the last segment just, being motivated to be better, to do better, and, doing it for your kids. And I guess what I would say in kind of conclusion to that is if you find yourself in a loop of life that you don't enjoy, because you can have positive loops, but if you find yourself in a loop of life that you don't enjoy, like I used to actually call myself a looper because I would just get stuck on like really negative things. And it still happens. Everybody gets things that you want them done, and it's not a procrastination. They can't be done. So you're sitting around waiting. What does this person think? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Can we get this over with? But the best thing to do is to give that to God. The Bible says a lot about not being anxious if you actually trust in the love of the Lord. And then if you're caught in a loop of like, I hate my job, I hate anything, what are you doing to make it better? Like how are you going to press into something? Like, are you researching how to get better at it? Sophie is like starting a flower business. It's pretty awesome. She's like explained how she can make these like bouquets of flowers, and Debbie challenged her. She's like, what are you going to do for working capital? And Sophie's like, what is that? And Debbie's like, basically the money you need to buy these flowers instead of our money. Like, we are not your working capital bank.
She has $700 upstairs in her drawer in her bank upstairs. So I'm like, you got your own working capital, so you know. We're willing to invest. We've been investing in the training up to this point.
But she's been buying flowers. Every time we drive home without Debbie, she's like, Dad, can we? And I know what she's talking about. I'm like, Soph, like if we buy flowers every time you and I are in a car, we are going to go broke. Mm-hmm. Like they are not.
She doesn't just buy flowers.
No, because what she does
she doesn't even notice that the bundle is $24.99, and that's one of the 7 bundles that she's got.
We don't walk into Deerberg's and grab the pre-made. She's like, but these are only $5 a piece. I'm like, yeah, you got 83 of them.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
But she does. She puts them together. She like builds them. She looks at the colors that go together and the types. And so Debbie started pushing on Facebook, and people started commenting and like, wow, that's beautiful. Like, she should make me one. I'd buy it. And so then Sophie starts working through like how she could sell them at the gym, and like part of the refrigerator could hold them, and she could pre-make
just like
some.
Wrap them, you know, and it would already be put together, but you wrap them and then you go home, put them in your own vase.
Yes, and that's what, Debbie started talking about, working capital
up randomly
stuff,
from places.
So anyway.
So I had to talk her through, well, let's get some costs associated with this, and let's see, your time and everything.
Yeah. So it's just neat to see initiative. I'm bringing that up because, like, you can do something different than you're doing right now. Right. If you feel stuck, something can change. Sometimes it's not mega. Like, sometimes maybe you hate your job and you're like, oh, but I can't find another job. I can't just transition out. But are you trying? Like, have you added something on the side to maybe supplement to where you move? Like, I left law enforcement by building into part-time personal training, and then I left and completely went into full-time training, and then we ultimately opened the gym. Sometimes that you have to make a transition phase, and sometimes the transition is harder. Maybe you feel stuck where you are, and you're like, okay, I can't put more on my plate. But what if you put more on your plate for just a little bit, and that allowed you to get to a place where you actually were happier? And there's a book called Gamification. So if you don't know video games, you can just tune this out for a minute. But if you're a turbo nerd and you're listening, in the book Gamification, he talks about like a grind. And it is applicable if you don't know games too. But in video games, it's funny because you play video games for fun, but in most video games, there's parts of them that are called grinding because you don't feel like doing them. And I think it's hilarious that game creators put this concept in these games where you have to go do something you don't want to do to accomplish something that you do want to do. And the ultimate reason for that is they need you to play the game longer so they can make more money off of you, because if they only gave you the good stuff, you'd beat it quick and you'd be gone. This gamification book says that the same thing happens in real life, but so many people get caught in the grind or they just give up. And so if you're willing to grind a job and you look at it as this is actually just the grind to get me to the top where I want to go so I can do something different, then you might change your mentality about where you are because you stop thinking you're stuck.
I think for me, the reminder that I often need as an entrepreneur, or have needed very consistently, is that the only sincere way that I am going to fail is if I quit.
Right.
Is if I quit. And there have been so many times that I have wanted to quit. I mean, I quite legitimately, I can't count anymore the amount of times that I've wanted to quit. Owning a business, and throwing in the towel. I would go to bed thinking it'd just be so much easier to quit. And yet I would never quit. I sadly will probably die trying. But there's just this part of my body that is just like, no, it's repulsed by quitting. But sincerely, the only way that you can fail at anything, now I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, like with an entrepreneur, it's you run out of cash and you can't make your payroll. You can borrow, but if nobody will give you any money and you run out of money, you're kind of failing basically, right? And then the only other way is when you completely run out of steam, you completely run out of gas, and you just say, I can't do it anymore. I cannot get up and fight another day, and you quit. But the same thing holds true with a sickness. The same thing holds true with a relationship. If you give up and you just say, I won't love one more day. I won't try one more day. I won't believe in healing one more day. I won't try one more doctor. I won't try one more treatment. If you make that decision, then you will fail, and the whole thing will tumble, and the whole thing will fall apart. The relationship will end. You will end up divorced. You might end up dying because you give up on the healing. But if you continue to fight, live to fight another day in all areas, in your business, in your relationships, in your healing journey, and every day just wake up worshiping, grateful, and just fight for change. Don't give up. That's the true way to succeed, because again, like I said, the only real way to fail is just to completely quit. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems for personal training or nutrition, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We're rolling that. I mean, there it is. We, we're just coming in like that. I was tongue tying myself.
It was like, whoa.
I do not look like that. That is not my face.
No, I didn't think it was your face, but that's what it sounded like.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you like changed your face to make
cassette tape that starts to get bad. Did you ever even have a cassette tape?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I had a yellow
back then.
I had a yellow one from Nike that was designed to like run better, and it just didn't.
You had a yellow cassette tape holder?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the hip carry.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And like it was sold as being for sports. Super excited. I ended up getting the CD player too, and it was just as bad. I don't know why I fell for it twice.
Terrible.
But you like put it on your hip, and then you go run, and it's like, have you heard the whack? It's like, And then you get your CD out. You're like, well, guess I'm not listening to that song anymore because there's a ring on it.
Yes.
But anyway, so I was
had a boombox.
Did it boom?
For my cassette. It was double cassette.
I had a boom.
I could record.
I had a boombox, and it had a button that said extra bass.
Mine too.
But when you pressed it, like nothing happened.
Mine would go.
What did it do? I don't know why you're making that face either. There's something wrong with you today. You did something.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Let's lock this in. Okay. Lock in. The kids say lock in.
Lock in.
I'm gonna farm.
Oh my gosh, are we even recording?
I'm gonna farm. I'm gonna farm that aura. You know?
Oh boy, I don't even want to know what.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. I think I said it wrong.
Okay.
So Sophie bought me this shirt, and it's pretty awesome. It's got an eagle on the front of it, and if you've never seen me before, I shaved my head, and it says "Bold and Majestic." It's got this like big eagle spread up. And so it's funny because obviously that's our logo here at the radio station too, is an eagle. And we always talk about like, you're going to love this. Like, John, it's like, how do you start the segment and then try to make anything serious out of this? You ready?
Are you ready?
So we talk about like being a chicken or being an eagle. You hear that old adage, and it would be like, eagles soar and chickens cluck, because chickens have wings, but they can't fly, and it's fascinating because it's like, do you want to walk around with them or do you want to take to the air? Because we all have the ability to fly. Okay. So if you're sitting around feeling bad for yourself saying, well, I don't have the right opportunities, I haven't had this, I haven't had that, I dare you to go out and listen to any billionaire talk. Almost every billionaire that has something out on the internet talks about coming from nothing, abusive parents, not having a dad, just a tough upbringing.
Lived in a car.
Lived in a car. Look back at pictures of when Elon Musk just started working. Jeff Bezos. Like you look back at these guys and it's like they had nothing. So are you going to walk around on the ground or are you going to take to the air? And what's fascinating about the eagle is the eagle will actually even fly through adversity. It'll fly against winds. It'll fly through storms. And so it's like, it's amazing to even have that as a representation of our country, because if you can get yourself to fly like an eagle on into the future, I'm going to write a song and I'm going to use, that was pretty good on into the, I'll come back to that. But, if you're willing to actually fly forward through a storm, regardless of what you're going into, your life actually stands to be better. Because on the outside and the other side of that difficulty is a calm. It's a peace. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but would you rather be where you want to be and be experiencing some difficulty? Or would you rather be where you don't want to be and still be experiencing difficulty on what you're currently dealing with and complaining about? And we have a sign in the gym, and it's this meme from the internet, and it's this guy, and it's like he's a stone statue, and the bottom half of his body is very overweight, like from the belly button down, and then there's like a muscular guy in shape, and he has a hammer and a chisel, and he's chiseling away at the bottom half of him. So it's like he's carving himself into who he wants to be, and it just says, choose your hard. Like being in shape is hard, but feeling out of shape is hard too. And by shape, I'm talking about health.
Right. Absolutely. When we were in the first segment, when we were talking about being a warrior, something that came to my mind over the years with entrepreneurship, sometimes it can feel like a lonely road. Like you don't always have someone to talk to about things that come up. Because it's like, I don't know who I would go and talk to about this. And so I would just read books and I would study people. And a lot of the people that I would study were in the military or former military. And, they would talk about like all these different tactics and how particular they would be about like training them before they would take them out into the battlefield, and how they would do all these different things to try to find the weakness in someone. Yes, physical weakness, of course, but really truly mental weakness, because that particular mental weakness is what's going to show up, on the battlefield, and it could sink a boat. It could ruin an entire platoon. I mean, it could just be one person's mindset that could throw that off. And when we were talking about Braden earlier, I just think that way with him. Part of the reason why I think he stands up and says, okay, I'm ready to serve, I want to serve others, is because of the people that pour into him and how full his cup is daily. We do a video call with him every single night. I mean, his nana, his family members, like they're really trying to build him like significantly. And so we'll be in this video call and, we'll talk to him about, who are you going to help tomorrow? Who are you going to bless tomorrow? Who can you talk to today? Who can you encourage today? And so when we think about an example like that, like there's a couple different piles that are going to build him, okay? There's a pile over here of people that might be dulling him. They're not sharpening his blade, right? His iron is not getting sharpened by them, right? And then there's this pile of people that are truly encouraging him. They're truly building him. They're truly trying to give him the mental stamina and fortitude to then the next day go and get around other people and build them instead of thinking about his own personal situation. But if he gets too far over here to the left in that other pile, he's going to stay dulled out. And if we don't continue to fill that cup for him, he may or may not be filled up enough to really overcome whatever challenges his body presents or his situation presents. And then he may not go out and fulfill the call and purpose that God has for his life by encouraging others. So this pile over here, this is a strength thing. You have to have the strength and the fortitude to say, I can't keep dulling my blade. I can't keep making the decision to be around people that eat poorly, that drink things I shouldn't drink, that are on drugs, that are talking negatively all the time. I can't continue to decide to be around people that are just not trying to live the same lifestyle that I'm trying to live. I can try to encourage people. I can try to build people, but I really have to be cautious on who I'm going to listen to and who I'm going to let build me. Who am I going to let encourage me? Who am I going to let speak into my life? Another thing that I often, study with, entrepreneurs, I was listening to one just yesterday, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that book. And I mean, he basically was like, who are your teachers? He said, I tried going to school. He said, I tried. He said, I'm looking at the guy teaching me about business and I'm recognizing he's actually never owned a business. And he said he asked the guy, he was like, what businesses have you owned? And the guy had been more or less an instructor, his teacher his entire life, which is an admirable job. I mean, we're not putting that job down. But if the job is to teach someone how to own and run a business, no. Those schools should be hiring retired entrepreneurs, right? So who are you learning from? So what he did is he wrote a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he listened to a rich dad and he listened to a poor dad. And the poor dad kept telling him to get his PhD, even though that dad was so poor and he was never able to apply, provide anything for his family. And then this rich dad taught him how to maximize his time, how to be efficient. And so his iron was always being sharpened by this dad regularly. We've got to make that part of our decision making each day, most especially when it comes to our health. You and I both know that you have people in your life and your health declines every time you get around them. Every time you get around them, you make bad choices. Every time you get around them, you feel more sluggish the day after. Every time you get around them, you notice that you're gossiping. You notice that your attitude has become negative. No, you don't have to be mean to them. You got to limit this. Then you're going to have some form of detox pattern when you're away from them. So how can I detox all the energy that I just took on from these people. Get in the Bible, okay? Reinforce yourself with the good word. Get yourself into a detox program, get on healthy food, take a salt bath, get on a grounding mat. Like, find a way to get the toxins from any bad food that you just took in out. Otherwise, like we've talked about for years on this show, your brain is going to get off and then you're going to stay down that pattern. I can look at people when they come in to meet with me and know before they say a word. Before they say a word, I can look at them and know if they've been on their food or not. And the crazy thing is the amount of people that lie right to my face is unbelievable. You know, they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money to meet with me, and they lie right to me, and I can look under their eyes and know that they haven't been on their food. I can look at the tone of their skin. I can look at the eyes. I can watch them talk and look at their tongue as it's showing up. I know. I can also look at the actual energy that someone's presenting in their body and the brightness of that energy or the darkness of that energy, and know if they've been on their food. And yes, many people admit, like, hey, I had a hard time. I did this. I got off. I went to this restaurant. They served this instead. You know, yeah, they come in. It's like a confessional, right? And then we teach them the appropriate patterns. But so many people are in this weird state of shame and denial that they won't even talk about it. And then we're never able to find a constructive way to sharpen their iron again. And they stay dulled out. Some people stay dulled out forever. It's just a bad situation. So I just want you to think about, like, where are you pulling your energy from? The Bible, church, your pastor, something that you listen to on YouTube. Successful people that are healthy, people that eat clean. Pay attention to who's equipping you. It's really going to matter. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Kind of talking a little bit about your surroundings, who you're surrounding yourself with. I know we cover this a lot on our show about iron sharpens iron, but if we cover something a lot, just know it's not because we like to repeat. It's because it's important. And when you surround yourself with people, are you getting better or are you getting worse with your time around them? Doesn't mean they're bad people. Like, that's what a lot of people get confused, is when we talk about who you surround yourself with, like-minded individuals, iron sharpening iron. It's like, don't get offended for your friends and family if we say or someone says they're not good for you. Again, it's not about if they're good people. It's about you're trying to be healthy and you got a friend who tells you, come on, it's just one thing of nachos. Come on, it's just one pizza. Is it really that big of a deal? Meanwhile, you've just told them that you have diabetes and you're trying to overcome it. Like, is that beneficial? You know, is that the group you should spend your time with?
Well, everyone is someone Christ died for, so no one is necessarily a bad person.
No, that's exactly right.
That doesn't mean that they're building you.
So you just have to be careful because
it could be breaking you.
Yeah, you just have to be careful who you spend the majority of your time with. Everybody's heard the old adage, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you your future. You know, so if you surround yourself with people that aren't trying to do what you're trying to do, the Bible says surround yourself with like-minded individuals, and iron sharpens iron. If you're not around someone like-minded ever, then it's going to be really hard for you to put yourself in a position where you have the success in whatever it is you're looking to be successful in.
this can happen anywhere. I mean, I used to work Integrity used to be in 5 different gyms.
Yeah.
One of the gym owners used to eat pizza at the front desk.
Yes.
He would keep the entire pizza at the front desk, which I don't know if you've ever been around a pizza that just got delivered. You can smell it. And then he would sit there and eat it at the front desk. So people who were fighting the good fight, I mean, trying so hard to stay on their food and literally did everything they could so they could try to get the last 50 pounds off. Many people are mental about food. They would walk out of that building and literally have to fight the rest of the day to not eat a pizza.
Yep.
That's in a fitness center. So I mean, of all the places that you think you're going to go that's going to be healthy, that you think maybe should be like a sanctuary for health.
Yep.
And then I've been in plenty of churches in my life, speaking engagements and different things like that. And I'm telling you, some of these women's meetings, holy cow, this is some of the most catty environments I've ever. I don't even go to them most of the time anymore. Now we go to a church now that Sophie and I I went to the same church for 22 years, but I'm talking meetings, like just all these different meetings I go to all over town. Some of these women are backbiting, talking about each other, gossiping. That's inside a church. So it doesn't matter what the environment is. It just doesn't. There will be a lack of health and a lack of integrity and a lack of equipping, and you will get dulled out no matter where you are.
Yes. I mean, I just think that, again, what is it you want out of life? What is it that you're trying to have? Like, do you want to be healthy? I used the imagery in the last segment talking about the guy who's chiseling himself out of a larger, structure, out of a larger, what's what I'm looking for here? Statue, and it says, choose your hard. I mean, it's hard to be healthy. It is. I mean, it can be simple, but that doesn't make it easy. It can be simple. Eat this, not that. Do this, not that. Prepare this way. Doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean you're not going to crave the pizza that Debbie was just talking about that you smell. It doesn't mean you're not going to think about things you've had in the past that you love. Bless you, Debbie. Times 2. Debbie's a double sneezer. She always has to sneeze twice. Never 3 times, never 1. A lot of times when she sneezes, I'll be like, bless you, times 2 right out of the gate, and she'll fire off too. So anyway, I'm glad you didn't sneeze on everybody on the radio. Like you did to me earlier. Holy cow. I made her laugh earlier, and she spackled me with food. Literally, I was like, what in the world? Like what just happened?
That was funny.
It was pretty funny.
Sorry, though, honey.
Well, I was pretty funny.
Uh-huh. You were funny.
I get it. I appreciate that.
But sorry for the spackle.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just think that we covered a lot. We talked to you a lot about who you're surrounding yourself with. We talked to you a lot about how to be successful. And really, when it comes down to it, you have to ask yourself how bad you really want something. If you tell me you want something, but you implement nothing to get it, I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
I think inside of you there is a desire, maybe like a flicker of a flame of wanting to leave a situation. But if someone tells you they're trying, okay, this is a little test for you. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and they're telling you they're trying to do something, whatever it may be? Like you've been asking them to help you with something. You've been asking them to get something done. And like, yeah, I'm really trying to do that. And in your mind, you're immediately like, yeah, right. You're not trying. They say the same thing about you. If you're telling people you're trying something and you can even recognize that you're not getting something done, you're the only one that believes that. You're lying to yourself the same way they're lying to themselves. If you're knowing you should do something and not doing something about it, it's exactly that. You're knowing. You're aware that you should do something. You're not trying. The only way to consider something actually trying is if you're implementing disciplinary patterns to be able to accomplish it. So you want to eat clean? I'm really trying to eat clean. Okay, well, what have you changed? Because what you were doing is failing. So what has changed? Did you write down a different way to do it? Did you come up with a different meal plan? Did you build something differently? An alarm goes off and you're supposed to, what did you change? Well, I haven't really changed anything. Then you're not trying. You're just doing what you've done in the past and failing.
I love that, old, I think it was in one of those books that we got from Dwayne, but it said, don't try to do something, train to do something.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, yes, I know you you're having a hard time. You can't get it figured out, but don't try to do it. Train to do it. And that was like what we taught Sophie. Like, don't try to be more organized. Put some training in place. What can we do to be better at this? What can we implement to become better? You don't become better overnight. I mean, this isn't going to be an overnight thing. Now, here's the thing that I think is very difficult for some people. They are trying, but John, their brain is so bogged down by so much garbage that they actually can't. Like it's like they're addicted to something.
Absolutely.
It's like they're on an opiate. It's like they are on something and they can't get off of it. All right. If that's the case, if you've been on a sugar binge and you just say, I try every day. I wake up every day and try. Great. Fast today.
Yeah, that's when I actually believe you. You have a chemical addiction and you're trying to get out of it. I get that.
So fast. Drink water today.
It ain't going to be easy.
Put some salt in the water. Yep. Put some salt in the water. Drink an electrolyte. Drink broth all day today.
You can beat it.
It fast. Because when you fast, you basically, it's like you have this white erase board that has everything that you've been doing written down on it.
Yeah,
and you take the eraser and you erase a line. And then you erase another line. When you fast, you clean the cells.
Yes.
You clean the cells. You get rid of the old, ugly, just garbage that's binding you, and it's got you bound, and you can't get out of it. So you're right. There are probably times where you are trying, but you just can't fast.
Yeah.
That's my answer to you. Do a 24-hour fast. Broth. Drink broth all day long. Buy some green juices. Drink a green juice. Then 3 hours later, drink broth. And 3 hours later, drink a green juice. And 3 hours later, drink broth. I mean, or just drink water and have some sea salt. But you're going to clear it. You're going to eventually clear it. You're going to eventually get out of that sugar addiction if you do a fast. If fasting doesn't fix everything, but if you're in that place where you're stuck and you say, I'm trying, and you're not getting there, fast. Fast for a day, see what happens.
Yeah, I totally understand the addiction part of it. I mean, I had a heart attack because I was overweight, so I think I'm very much capable and conditioned to be able to talk to you about eating disorder, right? I ate myself into a heart attack in my 20s. I don't know many other people that did that. So you are addicted. You know, anybody that tries to claim food is not an addiction, you know, like whatever. Food is the greatest addiction. It's the greatest money-driven drug in the world, because you have to eat. And so if we make it difficult for you to obtain clean food, we make it difficult for you to get the things that are going to nourish you, and we give you things that you actually get addicted to, generates revenue. And guys, you're walking around addicted. So find somebody that can help you. It's what we do, but find somebody. Like, don't battle it alone. Get out of the addiction, and then you'll find you probably have the strength to overcome it.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with our 6-month nutrition program or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless.